Hello and welcome, it's Pete here again and we're talking about Sizzix Side-Orders. Sizzix Vault Side-Orders. Tim Holtz, Sizzix Vault Side-Orders. They are the cutest sets. Not only are you getting a great die set, but you're also getting a Texture Fades Embossing Folder. Now, why are they called Side-Orders, you may ask? Well, they all work through the gorgeous little Sidekick. Of course, they work on the bigger machines, but the Sidekick, oh, this little machine and I go back a long, long way. So let's see what it's all about. Now we're going to make a cute little card today, and I'm going to be using this set. It's called Fresh Brewed, and you'll notice these are the dies. Again, they all fit through our Sidekick. And this is the gorgeous little embossing folder. Now, this is taken, and why are they Vault? Well, some of these dies you might have seen before, they'll be resized, they'll be switched around, they'll be different from the ones you have. Likewise, this embossing folder was once a standard size embossing folder. Tim designed so many 2D embossing folders in the past, he really did. And it's so nice to see that some of these classics are coming back to you. Now, the Sidekick Machine, if you've not seen this machine before, it's one of, and to be honest with you, if you look at the dies that we have in our range now, this would probably take between 80 and 90% of them. It's a great little machine. And if you think, well, hey Pete, it's a bit flimsy. Once you put that down, that is rock solid. That is going nowhere. Because there's a suction foot on the bottom. You see, you just flip that over like so. If you're familiar with a big shot machine, it should be fairly straightforward. It is slightly different though. You get two cutting plates, and then when we emboss, we simply take out one of the cutting plates and put in our embossing pad. I should say cutting pads, not cutting plates actually, but semantics. Right, let's take a look now. For this card, you know, the whole coffee, the fresh brewed thing, I'm thinking warming winter, I'm thinking maybe autumnal, you know, because it could be hot chocolate, it doesn't have to be coffee. You know, it could be an iced coffee in the summer, doesn't really matter, however you want to go. But I'm thinking warm and wintry. So I'm going to start off by embossing. And to do that, I need my spritzer, because with 2D, as with 3D, we need to soak the card to allow it to stretch, to get a really nice, deep, crisp emboss. And let's just move that out of the way, because I'm going to place the card kind of sort of there. It doesn't matter. Again, we want to embrace that imperfection. It doesn't have to be absolutely spot on. There. So that's it. Now, embossing pad, cutting pad. It's ready to go. I'll bring my machine in. Now, I said we've been through a lot together. We've seen a lot of action down the years. This machine actually preceded the big shot, the Sidekick. It's about 2003, perhaps. So this was really the very first roller machine out there. And it really did start a revolution in die cutting, so a lot of history. Now look at that lovely contrast. That is your emboss. Flip it over. That's your deboss. You could use either side, as you can with any embossing folder. But that's exactly what I wanted. This is going to be my background. I'm going to put it to one side, and let's get on with cutting. Now, if you're somebody who likes to maybe record videos, this machine is ideal for that, to fit underneath your camera. Let's take a coffee cup, pop that out, place it onto the cardstock. All the cardstock I'm using today, incidentally, is Sizzix cardstock from various collections, from a festive, from a muted. There's so much to go on. It really is. It really is the gift that keeps on giving. Again, I'm using that phrase, but you know what? When you go back to stuff time and time again, it's the only phrase that will do. You know what? I was getting a little overambitious there. This is actually the steam that comes off the coffee. So I'm going to take my other cutting plate. Notice this time we're using 2 cutting plates, whereas before we used the cutting plate and the embossing folder. And it works just like a big shot, in exactly the same way. And it's one of those, if you have a bigger machine, but you're somebody who's not lucky enough to have a bespoke sort of place for your die cutting, and you have to take your machine out and move the table around and everything, and then pop it back on the shelf, and aren't they cool? Then this is an ideal machine for when you just want to do those little cuts, you know, or a small project, or you don't want to get the whole, you don't want to get everything out. You know what I mean. It is great for that. It's great if you're on the go, you know, if you're traveling around. If you go in the caravan for a weekend, you know what it's like. Great British summer never lets us down, does it? So you might have one of those rainy weekends at the coast. Take your Sidekick along. Why not? At least you'll be entertained. There we are. We'll run those through. So there's gorgeous little heart. Even that heart, I love the shape of that heart. It's a small detail, but it's an important one. It really is. So there's my other coffee mug. There. There you go. Pop that there. What else do we need? We need another heart, and we need some more steam. So I think it kind of speeds everything up as well. It's so quick and easy. There we are, we'll pop that through. Just take those, pop them to one side. All those little bits fall out beautifully. And finally, I'm going to take this bit of brown, because obviously the coffee mugs have got to have coffee in them, or hot chocolate. So what I'm doing, you'll notice I'm just popping this over the edge of that brown. Because all I want is this part. That's the bit that I want to go inside the mug. And then I'll switch that around and go again. See what I mean about speed? It's just so efficient. It really is. I know that Tim loves his Sidekick. He really does. He loves his switch, of course, and his fold away, no doubt. But the Sidekick for these super quick makes is a godsend. So there we are, just pop that back on there like so. And don't forget as well, these actually come in their own little wallet. That is something which is unique to Tim's collections. There's a plastic wallet in there, it keeps everything together. Now, there's all my, I was about to pick this up. I would have taken the desk with me. It really, once it's down, boy oh boy. There you go. So, we've got all our bits. We'll just pop everything else to one side, and it's time to put it together. But before I do, this is the part where I said, here's one that I made earlier, because what I've done, I've actually inked these to get a little contrast. And notice the difference here. I've used the deboss side, and I've actually gone over this with vintage photo distress ink, and it's given it a lovely kind of warm patina. Really cool. It's the same card, but look at the contrast there. I've done the same with the mugs. I've done the same with the steam, the hearts, everything. So now I'm going to reach for my scissors. I'm going to take some of this lovely 3D foam, because I'm going to pop it on the back of the mug, like so, and then take one of these bits and pop that in there like that. So there's my coffee in the top. Oh, hot chocolate again. Not tea, I don't think. Yeah, it looks like a. It could be a tea mug. It could be good builder's tea. Actually, this is the colour that I like my tea. It's not far different from that. There we are. We'll pop that one in there. And notice what I've done here is I've switched this around. So it was the same die cut, but I've switched it around just slightly so that we can toast. I'll take a little 3D foam pad, pop it on the back of that heart. One more on the back of this heart. And the reason that I'm using this this silicone mat will become apparent because I'm about to get some PVA out because we want to attach that steam. And there you go. Now, even the little bit of ink around those hearts makes a difference. There you go. Really, really cool. So, PVA glue. I'm going to make a scribble, and I'm going to pick up some of my steam. I'm just going to pop the glue like that. It makes things so much easier. It's a good little hack that, you know, if you're working with a Sidekick, these little things make a big difference. There you go. And the other ones, I'm going to do this one kind of upside down in contrast to that. But no. There you go. Yeah. I think the other two will live to fight another day. Now, from a 3D folder, again, take a strip of our adhesive foam, pop this into the center of the card, which already bears the legend, warming winter wishes. And you can see this card hasn't exactly been cut square, and I haven't exactly set it square either. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I kind of like that vibe. Then I'll use my tweezers again just to pick the backing off this foam tape. Something like that. Yeah, why not? And then we'll take the second one. This is the trouble when you cut your nails before you do a video, because, you know, I like to stay clean and sharp, so I've cut my nails, but I have to use this to take the backing off there. There you go. We'll bring that one down there, like that. And that's it. It's so simple. And if you're making like little clean, simple cards like this, then side orders really are the way to go. So let's take a look at the Fresh Brewed again. We saw the dies, we saw the folder, but we didn't see all of the dies in action. So let's take a look at some of the other makes which we've made. Hug and a Mug. You can see I've used 2 strips of the emboss, or rather deboss, underneath there. We've got caffeinated and motivated. So I used, actually, there's a straw die. You see this die here cuts a straw that goes in the top of that, for example. But by sticking 2 together, I've made those lovely cinnamon sticks for stirring that cream there. Then variety is the pumpkin spice of life. Apologies for that pun, it is my very own. But can you see that sheen? Can you see the sheen on the top of here? That is actually, that's cut out of acetate. So that's a really cool way of doing it. Again, you know, the colors make a difference, as we said before, using the same color palette and trying not to deviate from that. But if you know, you can go with just warm colors, but popping this bluey green in really brings the whole thing to life. So that is Fresh Brewed. Next up, I want to look at Celebrate. Now this one, again, there's your die set. And here is your 2D embossing folder, your Texture Fades. It's a gorgeous folder, this. It makes the most glorious background, and it reacts particularly well to inking. Look at that. See what happens when you start to bring contrasting ink over the top of that. Incredible. All of these little details, the bunting, these swirls, the party hat, they're all part of the set. Now this one, the inking is kind of, this is the deboss. That's embossed inking on emboss. This is debossed, and you can see we've tried to get an ombre effect. So we've gone from dark to light and fading out, and we've done the same with the balloons. You'll notice the balloon has some embossed contrast. That is part of the dye. That is part of the dye, that emboss. So just by inking over the top really brings it out. And finally, party on. I love this bunting, the fact that you have two dyes which go together to create that wonderful contrast. So, and we've stuck with two colors. Well, three if you include the white, obviously. But yeah, just the orange and that kind of pink as well. And black, you see the black that we've got for the sentiments? That black really pops against those colors. That is a lovely little set. And celebrations is one of the things that we have all year round. Could be Christmas, could be birthday, or if you're like me, it's the same day. Right, now, next up, talking about Christmas. How about this one? Isn't that lovely? This is Mini Christmas, and these are all Vault as well. So Vault Mini Christmas, that's our embossing folder, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4 different dyes and the holly and berries as well. Stylistically, they all work together. It's nice to have all the details on the same die, so you're not searching around for that extra little die, but everything's on there. Let's take a look. We'll start with Santa. Yeah, just really simple, bold, strong graphic shapes. I didn't want to add any ink or anything to that. I just wanted to keep it like so. So even the backgrounds, you know, we're using light and shadow. It's just a simple embossed background, but boy, does it pop. It really does. Getting the colors right as well is important, of course. And again, we're using Sizzix cardstock for that. So I've embossed the background, I've embossed the circle as well. The snow is actually the buttons on the snowman's tummy, and his eyes, of course. Or her. Who's to say? Jingle all the way. Isn't that, I think of all these, everybody who's seen these, it's the gingerbread man that really jumps out. And then finally, candy cane. I got a load of them, put them together, add Santa, you know, the gingerbread man, bring them all in. It doesn't really matter because, as I said, stylistically, they work so well together. That's a lovely, lovely little set. Then this one is called Love Notes. Embossing folder and dies. How do these go together? What is that mystery die? Let's have a look. Actually, how about that? And you can see that these shapes, they make this box. And just by clever inking, you know, you're getting that contrast. There is the bow that goes around it. Again, this has crease lines in it. It creates that beautiful little envelope on which I've popped the heart. And you can see the embossing folder in the background. I inked it up first, I embossed it, and then I used ink just to bring out that contrast. Now, you don't have to use the whole thing. You can actually cut the embossed card into strips like that, and there's the little hearts popping out of the envelope. And then finally this heart here. Again, it's all about the distress inks with these, but they're just such cool bold shapes crying out to be inked. And of course we've got the arrow going through the heart. All I did was cut it in half, obviously, and just stuck one bit there and one bit down there. Lovely, lovely set. Valentine's is, well, it's always on the way, isn't it? It might not be next year, it might be the year after, but just to send a card to say that you love someone or you care about them, absolutely perfect. Now this one, this last one, you can see, it's a complete alphabet, and this embossing folder. Now, it's called Letterboard, and when I show you this, you'll realize why. So some of these haven't even made it onto projects yet. But having an alphabet means you can do your own sentiment. It means that you can keep it bespoke. You can make it personal. So you can pop these on a little easel if you want. You can pop them onto a card or some kind of project, front of a journal. Blame it on the bubbles. We photographed that next to some Prosecco, I think. Yeah, we did. Now this one, this one we actually filmed. We had Elf on the Shelf by the side of it. Jingle bells, Batman smells. I'm not going to sing, but you can see it's kind of off kilter, higgledy-piggledy, and with Elf on the Shelf, this one looked perfect. Great, great die set. And you can see what I've done with the embossing folder is I've embossed it twice and then doubled up to build up the size there. But just, it's a great font. It's a great embossing folder, even if you just want the stripes, you know, it's absolutely fantastic. But what a lovely, lovely set that one is. There you go, aren't they great sets? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? And this is how they come. This is the size of them. This is how you'll see them. They have the little wallet. You have your embossing folder. They have all your dies. They fit perfectly through your Sidekick, although not exclusive to the Sidekick. Use whichever machine you want. Now, I'd love to see what you guys make with these. So send it to our website, you know, go on our Instagram. It is great to see how you interpret these wonderful die sets. Thanks so much to Tim for bringing them to us. I've had so much fun with them, as always. And if you want to know more about them, go to Tim's website, timholtz.com. He will be doing an overview in fantastic detail. And of course, you'll be able to see some of the wonderful makes from his making team. Thanks very much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed it. My name's Pete. I'll see you again soon.